Oh, wow. Savadious here with your reaction. Darth microtransaction reacting. Oh, my God. And then I'm going to react to him after he reacts to him. So if you get the picture, Diablo 4 might be saved. It looks like that's what they're talking about. Let's go ahead and actually see it. I haven't seen it. Look at this scroll slider. I'm like actually nowhere. Let's see.
Is Diablo 4 good now?
Is Diablo 4 bad?
Is it bad?
Or is it good now if they saved it? I don't know.
Diablo 4 okay-ish? Better?
What are some of the W changes Blizzard has made,
W?
with the Season 2 patch? So they made the horse run faster.
They did?
They made him
it actually is kind of zoomy.
Now, he still does bug out, okay? Still, like, you're trying to go through zones, and it's like...
Okay.
This is true. Going around corners, like, I still get hit on... Sometimes I get hit on, like, a rock or something.
I get stuck on those rocks.
Definitely noticeably better.
Yeah, all the time.
But, for the most part, it's significantly better. And then when you're trying to traverse through the dead solar zones of Diablo 4, and you're trying to get to a destination, you can get there faster.
Really?
So, that's overall, you're going to enjoy yourself slightly more because you don't have to endure it as long,
Like that little, where he was walking past that little thing right there, that you 100% got stuck last time.
You're going to enjoy the game more because your mount's faster. Okay.
Good job. Keep up those, we could still see another horse patch. They can get rid of some of the more bugs, but, good job, Blizzard.
For bringing enjoyment back with a faster horse.
Took a mechanic that was completely broken, bugged, and should never have been implemented.
Look at that piano Darth guy.
I don't even know how it made it to life.
I got a piano, bro.
Resists. They took resists, and they took that mechanic, and then they made it functional. Now,
what do you mean?
Actually works.
Perfect.
What do you mean?
No, it's not perfect. It's, they could do plenty of things to make it better.
Yeah, but what did they do?
Resists are significantly better. I would go ahead to say it's 100x, 200x.
Yeah, I mean, it's infinite because you can't times 0 by something, right?
Exactly.
Just be
See,
0.
that's what I'm talking about.
It's amazingly better.
300x as good as it used to be, so good job there, Blizzard. So now that we've got all the positive things out of the way,
did that make any sense? I have no clue.
That's complete.
Wait, hold on. The only positives. Wait, am I hearing this right? The only positives are the horse and the resistance. Oh my, this is going to be a Diablo 4 still bad video.
No, 100%
it's 100% calling it.
No,
trash.
no, it's saved.
And now this isn't just supposed to be a video that's just saying D4 bad, okay? Because that's not this. It's supposed to be a feedback video and some takes. That maybe the Blizzard devs will look at and think, maybe we should consider that.
Consider what? Consider
one
what?
of the bigger things I want to cover that I feel like a lot of people are not, and in fact, people are even praising this, which kind of blows my mind.
What's that 5 on your shirt, bro?
Itemization changes.
They didn't really change the items. So they didn't change the items. They changed how you acquired the items, and I hate it. I think he's going to go, and I'm going to agree with it. But I hate it that people confuse the two. How you get an item, like how you get a new unique, is different than the items themselves actually being different. Now, I know they changed some of the affixes.
So the items are the same.
There's no new affixes. They didn't rework the way items work in affixes. I think we all agree that at this point in the game, that affixes on items are boring. So the items themselves are still boring, but the way you get them are more fun. That is my take so far.
For all of those.
I think straight up in Season 2, items feel worse.
Why is everyone else like up higher? Can I go up higher?
I am more flaccid than ever.
Can I go higher?
Whenever I see an item drop on the ground, I don't know what to tell you. This is to do with the critical strike and vulnerability changes. So,
I'm higher now.
What they did is they made vulnerability no longer a multiplier. Well, okay, the base mechanic is a multiplier, so it multiplies your damage output by 1.2. But the increases to vulnerable damage, just additive, normal increased damage.
Yeah, see, the multiplier was nice for Necros.
Vulnerable damage
now it's not.
20%. Whatever the fuck damage, else on your gear.
Don't say those words.
He's actually kind of right about it. This is what I was saying when they released this on the live stream. I was saying, so it's kind of the same as everything else. Like, no matter, you're just going to go by, this is a higher
it's not
percentage,
special. You don't
I get where he's going with this.
Effectively doesn't do much.
What about the saving?
Critical strike, the same thing happened. The base mechanic is a 1.5x multiplier, and then it all increases to your critical strike damage on your gear.
It's
just additive increased damage. And you're like, well, what do you mean? It was OP. Of course they had to make this change. Well, what they've done is they basically made all damage on your gear homogeneous. It's all the same. But all the mechanics that say...
yes, in terms of the items themselves. I think what they're trying to do is
damage
basically
is created
make it where the multiplicative
multiplicative.
I know I trigger everyone by saying this wrong all the time. I apologize. Is that they're trying to make that elsewhere. So like the sorcerer, for instance, you get more percentage of burning or what have you, and then multiplies through the Paragon board. I think what they're trying to do is make it where depending upon the other parts of the game. I don't think it's there yet
Okay,
to agree with him,
come on.
but I think they're trying to make it through the
Cough
other
it up.
parts of the game is where you get those more modifiers from.
Increased damage while running on
I
Tuesdays.
like that
Increased
big
damage
buckets
to
we had
monsters,
before for crit
when you're
and
behind them and
vulnerability.
your character has like some buff and that's all the same shit. It just
Okay.
you see an item, it's got damage mods,
Yeah.
and there's nothing really special about it. You're looking at it and you're like, okay,
It's
well,
like
this
they're
one
all
here
the same.
only works in this
Just
situation.
try to stack
but, I mean,
something.
It's got a 1.2%
Randomly pick
more
something
number
and
on that
stack it.
one, and you're sitting there, and ultimately high number good. Now, obviously, there are still things on items that actually are designed well, like
High number good, yeah, stack.
plus to skills, things that still exist in the game that actually will make differences. Like
Okay, but
cooldown
the
reduction,
Diablo's been saved. Can you tell
defensive
me about the
attacks, I
saving
like
part?
those. But when it comes to damage on your gear in the current implementation, it's just worse.
What?
It's just worse.
The game's work. You
And
just said it was saved.
picking up
I actually agree with him. I know
The game's
some people might
worse?
think it's a hot take because the season feels better, but
What?
items actually feel worse because there's no dopamine around items before, and now the crit and vulnerability were the one thing you were excited to see
Yes.
before. Now when that doesn't show up on an item, or because those aren't as exciting as they used to be, that was the one thing you were excited by before,
Yeah,
and now
we
you're
wanted it on
basically excited
everything.
by nothing unless you
Yeah.
get multiple affixes that are perfect for your build and you get perfect row. So
Okay.
the amount of being excited when you see an item drop has gone down
So my
in the later
excitement
portion of
has
the game. I don't think
decreased.
this is a hot take.
items to me now in season 2.
Why you got the
I'm
title saying
falling
it's been
asleep,
saved
bro.
though, bro?
I
you do
am
that, bro?
fully flaccid. Why is that?
What?
It's because the feeling
I didn't
of
hear that.
min-maxing your character is not there. The feeling,
Yeah,
I'm
I
playing this build,
did
so
like
need
the
these roles,
min-maxing.
and, oh my god, if you're
No
playing
more
a,
stacking
a
crit and
bleed build,
vulnerability. You can just
could be
stack
getting some mods
anything.
which give you like
Oh, look at that cat.
physical damage over time multi or bleeds
He's
go
gonna go play the
faster or
piano.
something that fundamentally changes the way your build gets. Like a really
He or
OP
she.
thing. It just doesn't exist
Okay.
for the majority of builds in the game, outside of the few things I mentioned before. Hence, making items feel really shit. I guess what I'm saying
Just
is
gotta stack
Blizzard
anything, right?
should not even Blizzard. All ARPG items they should have ultra best in slot rolls. They
Yes,
should have
there
giga OP
should be.
rolls
Shouldn't that be
are
like the shackle and
insane,
those things?
Except
What?
for only certain builds. There should
What?
be
Yes. So basically, what he's trying to express is that
Yeah,
certain
explain it, bro.
modifiers should be more important depending upon the build that you actually
Yes,
have.
I
And
agree.
this is
That's the way it
why
used to
last
be.
Season basically felt bad was because crit and vulnerability was better no matter what build you had. So there
Yes.
was a Giga Chad OP one. So your
Yes.
reaction might be, well, Quin, obviously we had faux Giga Chads before. Like we had
Yes.
vulnerability, we had critical strike damage before. So why are you saying that we need these when they just nerfed it because people thought it was too boring? Well, what he's actually saying is if you're doing a burning build, then burning should be a really good one. So you can do a burning
Oh.
style build, or maybe lightning damage would be good if you're doing a lightning build. He's
Okay.
not wrong about this. I mean, this is some of the reason the PoE was so exciting for me because I was able to build armor,
don't know. I've
do the
never
shield crush
tried
build, use a
PoE.
weapon that made my armor with replica. I think it was replica Dream Feather or something that
Mhm.
made it where my armor helped me do more damage, and I was able to get the impel in it, etc.
That's
So
nice.
he's effectively trying to say there should be ways that you can change your character that when you change your character fundamentally change the way the items interact with
So
your
you're saying
character. And I think
Diablo
this
is
a
not
perfectly
saved, right?
reasonable, want out of the game.
I wanted to
agree with him.
save Diablo.
many different ways to build your character. And there should be many roles that effectively do nothing, and
What?
then there should be
Wait.
some roles.
There are roles that do nothing. So like a +1 to hair color or something like that. Is that what he's saying? I don't agree with roles that do nothing. I believe that roles should be used. I mean, even if it's a boost to the cooldown on your potion or run speed you remember we got this new thing in there now. You get a cooldown to your mount's dashing skill. How is that going to help us take out a boss? But it's there, so it doesn't really do nothing. I think every role has a purpose. You might need that cooldown to your dashing skills so you can just run across the map and knock out the altars of Lilith. Maybe it's not any good after you do that. So anyway, all right, so here we have the Diablo 4 saved. I actually thought we were going to
roles
save
that
it.
are insanely overpowered if you're playing a specific physical build
Yeah.
that does damage over time, or if you're
Bingo.
playing a
Exactly. So the same as Darth agreed and I agreed. We're talking about having stats. You can stack them. You can min-max based on your build. So now that pretty much there is no magic stat there. That's kind of right. Go with the stat that makes your build better. But no, where are we talking now? Is Diablo 4 good now?
Specific fire build that does big hits, whatever. There should be overpowered broken rolls on different pieces of gear.
Okay, so now we're talking hypothetically. The things that should be there. I get it. This is like a what if scenario and what should be. Okay, let's take a look. Does it change when we get down a little bit further? Hold on. Let's see if things change.
No, I think he had it right the first time. I actually think.
Oh, things don't change? See, I said, do things change? And Darth said, no, things don't change. Okay, let's see.
The dungeons feel a lot better because the events used to be completely skipped. Like you would.
You would what?
Every time I saw an event, I would actually be annoyed.
What?
Before and done.
Events were nice because they allowed you some like XP when you didn't want to hop in the nightmare. You just wanted to change a pace or something. You remember there was those little glitches where you could only farm certain events? There were people actually who liked events, who just wanted only events.
Dungeons. I feel like because of the changes to events specifically, it also sort of innately made dungeons feel better because when there's an event within a dungeon,
oh, that's nice.
Now I actually do it, which maybe that's not fundamentally.
Except for when I'm having a hard time in a nightmare and I see an event, I pass that event up. I'm like, okay, buddy, I got 2 deaths left. I'm not going to jump in this event and ruin it. Let me get to the end and then go back. You know, you can go back. I used to go back to these events. Like, clear the dungeon first, get your little Paragon board filled up, and then go back and do the event.
Like a dungeon change, but I kind of think dungeons are better, to be honest.
Okay, so is Diablo saved or not? That's what I want to know. Is it good now? Is Diablo 4 good now? So look, he's about to explain something very, very climactic. Let's see this.
Well, 660 item or an eye level. I don't care about that item.
Yes.
Just let me hide it.
Yes.
Let me hide the blue. If you're gonna add useless white and blue items into the game that are pointless and just fill up my bags, let us fill those out, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I guess I was wrong. I mentioned they won't throw any useless stats. Everything has its points. But yeah, what is the point of the white items that drop or the blue items that drop? I don't really know. It's like when you get to a certain item level, I thought I read some note in the past that garbage items will just drop as mats. You know, what happened to that? So we can get a white item, just pick up the mats for it. I thought we saw something like that in the patch notes recently. All right, so is Diablo 4 good now? Is it?
Agreed.
I mean, that really is it. I guess
Guess
to
what?
sum it up, Blizzard did make some changes that are pretty good.
So is it good?
And there's some steps in the right direction.
Is it good?
But it's far and few between. I still think the game itself has no content.
What?
And I really struggle. I mean, I basically have one thing that I want to do, which is, kill a certain boss.
Okay.
But yeah, effectively, there's no in-game content, and because there's no in-game content, you don't. What's the incentive to play the game? Like,
Oh my God. So he's saying it's not good. There's no reason to play because there's no in-game content. Ladies, gentlemen, I think I've heard enough. This is painful news to me. I wanted to know that it was good, so thank you for joining. Oh, Savadious here with Darth Microtransactions Reaction. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's painful. Let me go ahead and log in. I got some nightmare dungeons to knock out. I'll be seeing you next time, guys.